welcome to another episode of Knockout Sessions. I'm Julio. This is my co-host Milton. Coming off a big weekend of boxing, we had the Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis fight. I mean, a lot of things went down. A lot of things to take away from that.
A lot of people thought it was going to be more competitive, but apparently...
I thought it was going to be more punches thrown.
All I know, bro, is I've said this before, and I will say it again. You are fake. Because I believed in the dream.
I believe in him.
I had a dream, and I believed in this dream ever since he was nobody at 135, and nobody believed that he could compete at 135. Nobody gave him a chance at 135. So he had to go out to Australia and prove himself to do great things, and now he's getting the opportunities because he's becoming the man, and
he's getting there. All right, look.
135. You had in his generation Tank Teofimo, Ryan, and then you had Rolly, Loma, right? But these were the top guys at 135. At the bottom, everybody had Haney. Everybody believed Loma could be Haney.
Everybody really has Haney at the bottom?
Who had him at the top? Tell me, because everybody believed when Teofimo beat Loma, Teofimo was king of 135, right?
He was the man.
And everybody would say, oh, Teofimo will beat Tank, Teofimo will beat Ryan, Teofimo will beat this, but nobody would ever say, oh, Haney will beat these guys. Everybody was saying everyone was above him.
Right. He didn't have the following that those other fighters had, specifically like Ryan and Tank.
Yeah, reputation, following.
We knew the skill.
But he was the only one who was consistent besides Teofimo. He was always consistent yelling out names. None of the other guys say anything.
No, he was the boogeyman.
I mean, now we know he is.
Oh, now he's the man.
Yeah, 100%.
Now he's the man that came out the most successful out of that bunch that you just mentioned, including Teofimo. I don't want to hear it because you're fake.
No, I'm not.
Because you are.
No, I'm not. I believe in the Haney.
Because we're about to break it down. Look, Haney just beat Prograis. Look good. Prograis.
He looked good. He looks amazing.
There's records that aren't meant to be broken.
Okay.
And 36 punches landed over 12 rounds. That's not a record that should have been broken, which was already set by Edwin de los Santos about a month ago. So Prograis was not the test. I mean, he was the name that we're looking for Haney. Proud of Haney.
Again, the same argument that we had about Haney, that nobody wanted to fight him. He has something to prove.
Foolish.
It was the same argument about Prograis, because ever since the Josh Taylor fight, nobody was giving Prograis the opportunity. He was going through this long time where nobody was giving him the opportunity to fight.
Right.
It's his fault that he finally got the opportunity and
did nothing. Absolutely.
He flopped.
Horrible.
But that doesn't mean that there was a lot of hype behind Prograis, and it doesn't mean that Prograis is not good. Haney is just great.
He's great.
Same thing that Teo did to Taylor. It's not that Josh Taylor wasn't good. Teo was great.
Okay, which begs us to the next question then.
There was the news that Teofimo is going to be fighting Jermaine Ortiz, which is heartbreaking
for you fans,
because
you Teofimo stands,
because we're coming off of a great performance from Haney, and I get it. Most likely, the Teo fight was already in the works, so I understand, right? So all this means is that as soon as Teo gets through Jermaine Ortiz,
you're right,
we need to see Teo and Haney because one of the biggest things that we kept hearing on Saturday was Haney's dad mentioning that they want to move up to 147. He started bringing out Terrence Crawford's name a lot, which again, that's fine. You want to go after greatness, that's great, but you cannot leave
too much too soon.
No, Terrence Crawford's already getting close to retirement. I honestly don't think Terrence Crawford's going to give Haney the opportunity, though. It's the same concept that why is Crawford, like Boots deserves that fight before
absolutely
Crawford does. I mean, before Haney does. So there's no reason why Haney would move up to fight Crawford, because if Crawford gives Haney the opportunity, we got to start talking about ducking Boots.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no way Haney can fight Boots. If he wants to go up to 147, fight Boots.
I don't think he wants those problems.
I don't think so
I
either.
think he wants to taste the canvas.
I do believe Haney's great, but there's always someone better, scarier out there. So, but that's what I'm saying. I think there's two. This was his debut at 140.
He looked good.
He looked amazing.
Weight cut was amazing for him compared to 135.
Exactly. Yeah, he did. He didn't look unhealthy. He looked very full. He looked big. You know, definitely. And definitely showed like he had a little bit of pop. But is it really strength, or was he just Prograi had no defense?
He had no defense, he had no offense, he had no motivation. He was just there to collect the paycheck. Yeah,
because he did say that Haney did surprise him on how fast he was. Because he said it's not that Haney has one hit, power. It was more of like a consistent boom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you keep tapping one area over and over, and it's eventually gonna start hurting. So I do think that the drop on Prograi was a little bit of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
But he did rock Prograi like 2 other times later on in the fight, which was one of the questions they asked him after the fight, that if he saw Prograi was hurt, why didn't he go and finish him off? He kind of just said, we followed the game plan,
Well, I think Haney just doesn't really have that killer instinct in him at this stage of his career. He's kind of playing it safe. He knows he can just kind of coast along with it. He had it secured. The last thing he wants to do is kind of get in there in the deep water with a punch like Prograis, because you never know, right? That exactly. One punch. But the question is, Teofimo's got that fight you mentioned. He's gonna walk through. Who's his name?
Jermaine Ortiz.
Anyways,
tell me if I'm right or wrong. Before Lomachenko fought Haney, he fought Jermaine Ortiz. Did Lomachenko get a lot of criticism because he had a tough time with Jermaine Ortiz?
Yeah, but I mean...
So is Jermaine Ortiz really...
Does he have a chance against Teofimo?
No. That's not what I'm arguing. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm just saying, like, we can't just assume it's going to be a walk in the park, because you never know.
No, it's just going to be a walk in the garden. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, which, let's just say for the sake of saying it, he beats Jermaine.
Okay.
Haney or Teofimo?
I've already said this. Teofimo's the guy. I do believe, because boxing skills wise, I did not see Haney do any better or worse until when he fought Lomachenko, because that's pretty much the only. Oh, and well, of course, George Kambosos, but
let's not forget about Kambosos.
Yes. But I don't think Haney did better or worse. Teofimo technically won the Kambosos fight. Come on.
Technically,
on the books, if you rewatch that fight,
I think it has a loss.
There's a solid argument that Teofimo won that fight. There's a solid argument that Teofimo won that fight. Beyond the point,
I can't find.
That's why I say technically, to the real boxing fans who pay attention to fights, if you rewatch that fight, Teofimo won.
What is your malfunction?
We can watch that fight right now, and we will score it round by round, and I guarantee you Teofimo will be on top.
We can make an episode on that.
We will. We're actually we will do that. We're gonna break that round by round, and Teofimo won that fight. But beyond the point,
you do not want to look foolish in front of everybody.
I'm a fool, and I'm in love.
Wow.
But this is my thing. Haney did not look any better or worse than Teal, but Teal has way more proven power.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue.
Power, I think, will be the defining factor on why I think Teal will beat Haney.
Skills
pays the bills. So you're telling me that you don't think Teal has the skills?
I think he has a power to hurt Haney.
So you don't think he's a good boxer?
Teofimo?
Yes.
It's a B-level
because
boxer.
From what I know, you said Lomachenko's the greatest boxer of all time, and who would be Loma?
We want to talk about technicalities. Who won, Lomachenko or Haney?
I What did you bet for?
We don't bet around here. Okay, we're honest men. I think personally, Haney will make Teofimo look foolish. I'm not saying it's gonna be a one-sided fight. I think in the end, Haney's probably gonna be on his bike. Let's be honest. I like Haney.
I would be so disappointed if he goes on a Shakur bicycle.
Shakur.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but I think on the ESPN pound for pound rankings, Shakur actually got dropped on the pound for pound rankings after winning.
It's a garbage fight too. When boxers had some garbage fights.
No, 100%. That's what I'm saying. We can't get on that Shakur level. Haney has proven that he's a good boxer, but he stays right there, boxing, countering, and exchanging. If he were to do that against Teofimo, I'll actually be very disappointed.
Time will tell. We'll see if Teofimo can keep up with his end of the bargain. Who knows? Maybe an upset happens. But I mean, this is boxing. We pay to watch superior boxers bully little janitors, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion. But hopefully we'll get that Haney Teofimo fight. Hopefully mid to late 24.
Well, we'll see. But another conversation that got sparked up as well was that if AJ and Wilder win their fights on December 23rd, apparently we have an official date.
Look,
what do you? First of all, do you believe that we will actually see that fight? Are you even interested? Let's start there. Are you even actually interested in a Wilder AJ fight?
I am absolutely interested. Here's the problem: that fight has been like this girl that just teases me and just makes it look like she wants me.
You know what's going to be amazing is it's the same.
Away.
It's the same feeling that we had about Crawford Spence.
Yeah.
And then you finally get that girl, and she is nothing like what you dreamed of. She is nothing what you expected. She doesn't even smell good. She doesn't even smell good. You actually get to see her face to face, and you find out her teeth are actually yellow.
She was fake.
She was fake all along. That's how I feel that Wilder AJ is going to happen. At one point, I might have argued that I think AJ was the better man, but we've seen so many weaknesses in AJ's chin that there's nothing that will make me believe.
His chin and his mental state. It's kind of a little everywhere.
No, I would say mainly his chin.
His chin, yeah.
If you got a dude by the name of Usyk who's coming up,
best heavyweight
so far, coming up, and he's almost knocking you out.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to expect of Wilder's one punch power?
Well, he's going to send the jaw to the third row.
Yeah. So, I mean, based on the way AJ has been fighting on his last couple fights, he's way too cautious, way too defensive. He does not take a risk to try to throw. Yeah, like if the up and coming AJ, that was winning all the belts, beating all the guys, up until the point that he got dropped and defeated by Andy Ruiz. I feel like that Andy Ruiz fight, really traumatized him or something, because ever since that fight, he has never been the same fighter. Like, he's tried so many different styles, so many different trainers, and I just feel that at this point that if he's not willing to go into the ring ready to take a risk to try to knock out Wilder, there's nothing that's going to convince me that I think AJ will beat Wilder.
To beat a man like Wilder, you got to take those risks.
Yeah, look at Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Tyson Fury went on a whole binge of who knows what, came back and he's not even mentally there. Like you're saying that AJ's not mentally there. I mean, if you're telling me that Tyson Fury was mentally there, I don't even know what. I don't know. I really don't believe that in this situation, AJ's mentality has anything to do with it more than his chin. Well, because he doesn't even have the will to want to, get up when he was rocked.
No, he just doesn't have. He doesn't have that dog in him.
That's what it is. He
lost that.
Maybe I think the last time you can argue a little bit was in the Klitschko
Oh man, I mean, this fight that he was a made man after that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he got dropped, but he showed the fire that he wanted to, win. He showed the will that he was ready to.
He won the world over.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
By the way, I kind of hate. I mean, I see what Eddie Hearn did, making the whole card in Saudi Arabia with.
Dude, Parker and freaking Otto Wallen as a co-main would have been just fine with AJ and Wilder as the main.
They have Bivol as a featured bout.
Like, that is crazy to me. How are you going to have these men right there teasing each other?
And that press conference is going to be wild.
I don't know, because the small little gathering they had already, where Wilder was expressing how much he loves AJ and he respects him, like, that does not look like it was perfect.
I think Wilder, once he has the cameras on him, he's going to flip that switch. You know what I mean? Call him out.
I hope so, because ever since he lost to Tyson Fury, I've seen a couple videos that's kind of circulated around where, like, he's like upset, or like he feels guilt of how many people he's hurt. I don't know if you've seen those videos where he kind of has like a little breakdown where he just doesn't understand why he has so much power and why he's using it to hurt people instead of helping people.
I think it's just all smokes and mirrors.
Yeah,
Wilder's a dog at the end of the day. I mean, hopefully, he's got a chance to prove it. Like I said, smart to put them on the same card. We're going to see what they both got. Hopefully, they both win their fights. That's kind of what it has to lead to.
But if you want to talk about press conferences and you're excited about some real beef, we got Rayo Colbert coming up again, the rematch.
Man.
Because I was there live when they fought at the Benavides plant undercard.
Right.
And maybe it was because it was live, and the fans there were all Benavides fans, so obviously it was the Mexican fans right there.
Staple.
Yeah, it's cheering for Rayo. But
yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, maybe that's what made me biased, but when I was right there live watching the fight, the whole stadium went crazy booing because everyone thought Rayo won that fight.
I thought he won that fight.
And I saw, I think it was Sean Porter that was talking, like, he kind of broke it down, and he kind of said that if you break it down round by round, kind of like, we do the same with Teofimo Cambosos, if you break it down round by round.
You don't want that.
He said that he clearly saw how Colbert won the fight because they both dropped each other at some point throughout the fight.
Right.
So there was a lot of controversy on Colbert's victory over Rayo. So I know there's no way that fight is not going to end on a knockout this Saturday.
It's too much bad blood. And on top of that, I mean, maybe it's just me, but if I recall on the post-fight interview when they raised Colbert's head, I don't think even Colbert thought he won.
He was just as surprised.
He was just like, oh yeah, I won for sure.
Of course. I mean, you're already in it. You might as well
play the part.
Play the part.
But Rayo, he was passionate. Those two were going at it, yapping each other after the fight. The bad blood's there. It's been there. And, Rayo now gets a chance to kind of right his wrongs. And the only way to do that
is by a knockout. And he needs to make sure Colbert stays down this time.
Yeah.
And they even put a $50,000 bet on the line at the press conference.
I mean, when you just don't care anymore, you got to put it all out there.
Yeah, so that should be one of the more exciting fights this Saturday. And then, of course, we have Morale as a main feature on that PBC card, which, again, I mean, it should be a pretty easy walk in the park for Morale. He's shown multiple times that he's very talented. So if we get the announcement that Canelo is not going to fight Benavides, we definitely should see Benavides Morale after this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that fight, but I think I would also want to see Morale against either Munguia or Berlanga.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
but since Benavides already said that he only wants 2 fights, I do think that Morale would be nice if Canelo doesn't give Benavides a chance, which apparently a lot of people saying that Canelo wants Benavides as his last fight through PBC.
Possibly.
But I don't know, man. I think if Canelo would just fight Benavidez in May, we could just have the rematch for the, you know, whoever wins. Doesn't matter. Like, if it's an exciting fight, I think Canelo should have just used his last 2 fights against Benavidez, and that, because if Canelo would have beat Benavidez in May, but if it's a close fight, run it back. Because if that happens in September in his last fight, and if it's a close match but they give it to Canelo, all the Canelo haters have every reason to not believe that Canelo deserves that victory. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like what happened with Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Like, Canelo, even now, even though on the second time that he fought Triple G wasn't that old, and Canelo still dominated Triple G and proved convincingly the second time that he beat him. He still got a lot of backlash because he didn't fight him immediately for the third.
I agree. Here's the thing about all that. Going back to the David Morrell thing, let's assume Canelo doesn't fight David Benavidez in May. We get Benavidez Morrell. I'm saying this right now. If Benavidez beats David Morrell and if that fight happens, strip Canelo that night. Strip him that night.
I actually wouldn't be mad.
Strip him that night.
I actually wouldn't be mad.
Like, I love Canelo, but if Benavidez goes and beats the boogeyman David Morrell, after what I'm sure Morrell's going to end, I can't go. How the hell do you say his name?
Just call him Junior.
You want Senna? If he beats Senna, it's probably going to be like within 5 rounds, in my estimation. And David Morrell absolutely deserves a big time matchup. Now, it can't just be Canelo or Benavidez. I mean, we do need to see something out of Munguia, something out of Berlanga.
Munguia, Berlanga. We already talked about this. Has to be the one next.
Well, Munguia's fighting right.
I know.
So wouldn't we want to see Morrell?
There's no way Berlanga's trying to risk his record on the opportunity or missing out on the opportunity.
What does he have to lose? He's already in purgatory. He's lost his believers.
In his mind, he's got more to lose.
In his mind, he's looking for another ear to bite.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Berlanga, man. With Munguia and Berlanga are in the same boat. We said this before. They need each other, but Munguia. That's what I was going to say, but Munguia still has a little more going for him, especially with this Ryder fight already booked, and Berlanga kind of just...
And Canelo right there on his possible sights. Speaking of that...
But that's actually going to be some BS if they put Berlanga against Canelo in May. Because if Berlanga...
We would riot. I would... Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, because... And the only reason I think it might be possible, because I know that they recently just announced that PBC is going to have their showings with Amazon Prime moving forward.
Yeah.
But as far as I don't know when all that's supposed to take in effect. So if PBC needs a network in the meantime to start getting their fighters or keep their fighters busy, it would be too easy for the Zone to offer Berlanga to PBC as that one fight scenario, just to keep their promotion going while that whole Amazon thing finalizes.
I would say it's simple. Canelo fights. I don't think it will happen, but if Canelo was to be booked against Berlanga in May, I would probably be looking to possibly burn my Canelo fan card. like that would be personal.
Okay, so who would you accept so you don't burn the Canelo fan card?
It's Benavidez or die. Like it's the only fight to make, and I think it should be made. If you're a Canelo fan, you want this fight made in May, because I think in September Canelo's just getting older.
But does it really make that big of a difference between May and September?
Boxing months are like dog years, and depending on who he fights in May, if it's a tough fight, it can take something out of Canelo.
But this is my thing. Right, this is the argument that we have with our little group of Canelo haters. If you truly believe Canelo is not the one and he will not be Benavidez, it really doesn't make a difference if he fights him in May or September. Because in reality, you're not giving Canelo a chance, right? That's what the Canelo haters are saying. The only thing that makes it tough for us Canelo fans, which is mainly me more than you. It sounds like you're trying to jump
I'm
off.
fair but firm, baby. I just want some good action around here.
In my opinion, damn it, you made me lose my train of thought. What was I going to say? What did I just say? The Canelo haters?
He's on camera now, so doesn't know what he's saying. How the tables have turned. Peep last week's video. So what you were saying was,
so we have the Canelo. Oh, all it means is for us Canelo fans.
He got his defense.
Yeah, there you go. All it means is for our Canelo fans that it's getting harder to defend him. Like, we can't keep making excuses and arguments for Canelo, but it doesn't, in my opinion, based on Benavidez' fighting style, Canelo will still have what it takes to defeat him, even if he's just a little slower. But look at Triple G. Did Triple G lose power at 40? Canelo's only like 34, 33.
No, I don't think. For me, it's not so much Canelo's getting older.
That's what you just said. No. Rewind it. I'm literally going to put it in slow-mo where you said Canelo's getting older.
It's a factor. It's a factor that Canelo's getting older. He's got a lot of mileage on that body.
Bro, this is why it makes me so mad, because now you're sounding like the Delgatos. Inside joke. Because...
Shout out, boy.
Shout out to my homie Delgato. Because... why is it that we had a champ like Triple G fighting at 40? And because when Triple G fought Canelo the first time, he was like 36, 37, kept up.
Right.
When Mayweather fought Canelo, Mayweather was 36, right? When freaking Bernard Hopkins was a champion, he was like 50.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So do we not believe that Canelo is that good or that great?
Let me ask you this. How much mileage did Triple G have at that time frame? Was it more or less than Canelo?
Obviously, Canelo has more miles. 100%.
Manny Pacquiao.
He's still wanting to come back and fight Tank.
I don't know why.
Hey, what if...
That's a dead horse.
What if he comes back and does what he did to Thurman?
Did Mayweather have the same mileage?
Did Penny Pacquiao not beat Thurman? Your man.
What does that have to do with anything?
My point that great fighters age really...
Like wine. Age like fine wine.
And a little bit of milk. Just a little bit. But my point being is that, yes, great fighters can hang in their late years. Canelo is literally still in his... If Canelo wanted to fight for another 5 years, he technically still has the mileage to fight for another 5 years.
He does, but see again. So my point, what I was trying to make
again. So my point being is, when Canelo beats Benavidez, these are the guys that I'm shutting up, because yes, Canelo's old. He's slow.
If he beats him in September, because
even in May, because you're saying that he's
in May, I got Canelo as a favorite. But in September, I got Benavidez maybe as a slight favorite.
It could change. Influence.
No, he did not. My thing is, okay, so the point that I was trying to make is that it's not so much Canelo's getting older. I mean, he's getting older regardless.
No, yeah, but at 33,
Benavidez is...
That's fine.
His trajectory is going up.
Obviously, no one's saying that Benavidez doesn't have the makings of the next great fighter.
I think he is.
He is, yeah, 100%.
He's going to be the next face of boxing.
But I don't think that he's fixed the issues to fight someone like Canelo.
No, stylistically, no. I'm not going to say like stylistically Benavidez is better than Canelo. Mm-hmm. I think Canelo still holds a lot more stylistic advantages over Benavidez, specifically his defense. And I think Canelo focuses on the body way too much to Benavidez's detriment.
Exactly.
So, but speaking of old fighters, quick little shout out on this fight card. We have the ghost of Robert the Ghost Guerrero versus the rotting corpse of Andre Berto in a rematch from 1989.
Now, what could potentially be maybe the card of the year, right? UFC 296.
It's a pretty stacked card.
It is pretty stacked.
Pretty stacked card. There's a lot of good fights coming up. A lot of moving pieces in the welterweight division. I mean, we can just start from the the card opener, which is Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. We just touched up on it
Not that long ago, yeah.
Not long ago. It's a last minute fight for Bryce Mitchell, but I mean, really, it's the fight that's replacing Ian Gary versus Vicente Luque.
Which, do you think Ian fell to the pressure of all the news and commentary out there, or do you really think he got sick? Yeah, the only reason you might have to believe it is because they did say it was him and his son.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he mention his son, right? If it isn't true, right? You would assume
I'm hoping it's true.
That's what I'm saying.
We're all hoping it's true. I mean,
but I really wanted to see how he was gonna take all the backlash off all that press.
I have never seen a man potentially, just my personal opinion, personal point of view, get bullied out of a UFC fight.
Like, so, Ian, we really hope that that's not what happened and you're doing great.
I hope you get better.
Especially you and your son.
Your son. I hope your wife didn't get sick. I hope your nutritionist is fine. It's just it's very unfortunate because I like Vicente. Vicente Luque is a good fighter, and Ian Gary, for as much of a drama he's been going through, he's a fun fighter to watch.
So you think the little whispers that I was talking about Bilal Muhammad stepping in weren't true?
No, Bilal Muhammad's absolutely not going to risk his fight for the title. He's literally the next in line. He's probably going to face the winner of Leon and Colby, unless to our next fight, Shavkat Rakhmonov, my boy. I've been raving about this guy forever. Beats Wonder Boy in emphatic fashion, 17-0, 8 knockouts, 9 submissions. Dude has it all. He's so
sorry, you're drilling a little bit.
He's so perfect. He's such a great fighter.
You know what's the best part? He looks like me. I think we're related.
Well,
tell me I'm wrong.
I mean,
are we not twins?
You look like Ian Gary, but
hey, he's actually pretty handsome.
I mean, I don't know, man. Ian Gary aside, we can talk about some real fighters around here. I think Shavkat's going to have a good fight, fun fight against Wonder Boy. My lord, it's going to be such a stand-up fight. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Shavkat wins by submission. I mean, he just has it all. He can do it. He chooses how he wants to finish these fights, man. I think Wonder Boy, props to Wonder Boy, because I know he's kind of gone through a lot lately. He just beat Kevin Holland. He was supposed to fight Michelle Pineda, but Pineda ate a little too much junk food before that fight. Didn't want to fight an overweight Pineda. So he accepted Shavkat, because Wonder Boy's at that he's 40. I mean, he's trying to have that one last run to the title. And if you want to make a statement,
that's a big wall.
That's a big wall.
He has to go through to get there.
I think Shavkat finishes him, and it's sad because Wonder Boy's such a good guy. And then,
so you think Shavkat wins, Bilal Muhammad?
Ooh, and in a perfect world, I would have. If I was Dana in a perfect world, I know you can't do this.
Why not? Dana does whatever he wants.
He does whatever he wants, but I mean, for the pure courtesy of it, I would have booked for this card Vicente Luque versus Wonder Boy 2, Bilal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov, title eliminator.
I think he's listening to you.
Dana, please. You should have done that. You should have done that. We really get answers here. We know. I mean, Bilal's a good fight. He deserves it fight-wise. He's not the most remarkable fighter. He's very cringy. Could come off a little bit of as a jackass, but that's neither here nor there. But Bilal's being smart. He wants to be the backup fighter because he knows he's got that title shot secured.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact. Speaking of other fights, I know.
Is this a farewell for Tony?
Stop it.
Is that where you're going? That you're officially gonna get on that Tony boat and finally just ship away from Tony Island?
Tony, please.
Patty for president.
As a fan, just win this one and leave like for your health, for your legacy. At the end of Saturday night, we're either gonna know if it was Tony time or
bro,
it's time, Tony.
It's been like what 8 fights ago that you've been yelling Tony time. So, what are we talking about?
So in your opinion, Tony's got no shot against Paddy?
No. I think he's a very live underdog. Super live underdog. I'm just saying, what do you think is the reason that's gotten Tony in this situation where he is 6-0 or 7-0 in his last fights?
Well, he's 0-6.
That's what I just said. Put it backwards. Do you think his mental state, his conditioning?
There's a lot of factors. It's age, it's mental state. I think it also has to do that he changed corners. I think his best time was when he had Eddie Bravo in his corner. I think also, and Tony will never admit this. This is just me as a fan of the sport and a fan of Tony. I think when Khabib retired, it took
that drive went away.
It took something out of Tony.
Because he was on a roll.
Khabib ducked.
Yeah.
Connor ducked.
Or was it the eagle versus the wolf? The wolf and the eagle?
That's El Kukui.
The kukui?
El Kukui.
Is it Chupacabra?
Well, I mean, lately he's kind of been the Chupacabra, but not El Kukui.
He's been the cow.
Stop that. I just want a good. Do you remember how beautiful it was to watch Robbie Lawler get that knockout and then just call it a career?
I mean, that's where most fighters want to do. I think Tony's just being too stubborn now.
Well, that's because Tony's
he's being too proud.
He's too proud, but he's got that dog in him.
That's the problem.
But what are you doing with old Yeller?
Yeah, at what point who needs to step in and tell Tony, like, Tony, it's enough?
God.
Hopefully that's not what happens this Saturday, because, look, for your sake that I want you to come back and be in a good mood, I really do hope Tony wins, bro. If that means anything to you, because if I bet my money on Tony, I'm winning big. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not betting on Tony. I love that. I'm a realist at the end of the day. I think Paddy should be favored. Although, let's talk about Paddy. He didn't look great against Josh Gordon in his last fight. No. He got a lot of backlash.
Bro, the only reason I like Paddy is because he's funny and cute. I love his eyes. I love his eyes. But realistically, there's really not a lot that shows that Paddy will ever really be great.
Oh, so Paddy's not the golden boy that Dana thinks he should be.
He's definitely golden.
He looks like a golden retriever.
Definitely golden.
I don't know. I like Paddy too. Yeah, he's got his fun style, fun little gimmick. I mean,
but if he doesn't take his time off seriously, he's getting older, and that's gonna catch up to him. There's no way there's anything healthy about eating like crazy. Going up, ballooning to over 200 pounds, and then you come right back down, losing 60 pounds for a fight.
Well, I think if Paddy beats Tony, I think you should start ranking him in the top 15. Maybe a good fight after that is Bobby Green. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even though Bobby Green looked pretty bad in his last fight, that referee, my lord. You know, you can make fights with like the Bobby Greens, maybe the Dan Hookers, the Jimmy, or start easing him into that top 10. I don't know how he does against the top 5.
And that's where we're might just what I'm saying, like, you know, he's always gonna be a fun person, but seriously speaking of his skills,
is his ceiling championship material?
Maybe not, and maybe it will always just be gatekeeping,
just a fun fighter,
just like Tony.
So Tony was champion. You stop that right now. Now he's kind of a gatekeeper. But if Tony wins, remember what you said about Canelo? I will come back. If Tony, y'all don't want to see Tony win because y'all don't want to see me after that. All right? So you leave Tony alone. But we move on to the main event. Oh, Jesus Christ.
First of all, Colby.
Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. You saw the press conference. You know.
If you know, you know. You know?
You know.
Yeah, Look, Leon has too much momentum going, but I think this press conference, Colby might have achieved what he wanted, which was to get into Leon's head. Oh. And Leon might actually be off. and Colby might have the opportunity here to just, capitalize on that, because Leon reacted way too quickly in that press conference and took that suit, which is very understandable. I understand. If you know Leon's past, you know what happened to his father, but
his father's dead.
Exactly.
And Colby would kind of walk that line.
He crossed the line. He didn't just walk.
He danced on it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But I think that might have been his goal. He probably wanted to find a way, because look,
that's a tasteless way to go about it.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, at one point, has Colby ever had any filter?
No, never. But that's the thing with Colby.
Because think about it. If you're Colby, you've been super inactive. If I know my little bit of the knowledge,
shot coming.
Maybe he's fought 6 times since 2019. 6 times.
Oh, I can break that down for you. Give me a. I want to say.
And I think 3 of those were against Masvidal, where he,
what?
kicked the shit out of it.
What? What? I don't know where Colby fought Masvidal 3 times.
But if I'm not mistaken,
is that laced with something?
Just a little.
My lord.
But yeah, Colby's fought 6 times, I believe, since 2019.
Horrible. Since 2019, he's only fought 4 times.
Even worse. Even worse. So if I know this being Colby,
2-2, by the way.
Yeah. So see, if I know this being Colby, right? I know that if I know Leon's coming with all the momentum in the world, you have to find a way to get in his mind to take off all that momentum, not have him all focused. You know what I'm saying?
Or it could backfire and Leon could put him on a shirt.
Maybe.
I will if I was Leon.
You did. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that the only time that I could have, I could think of that maybe Leon was taking a fight. This personally might have been, against Masvidal. Maybe.
I don't think it. I think it's past that.
No, I know. Obviously, it's way past that. But this is what I'm saying. Like the closest that I can think of. But I don't know. I think this is the that trump card. Because Colby's a Trumpster. I think this is a trump card that Colby had, hiding this whole time, that he just needed to find a way to get into Leon's feelings.
I don't condone it personally. I
don't think anybody does.
I mean, unless you're a Colby fan. That was a horrible way to go about it. I think stylistically, it's going to be a fun fight because Colby's cardio. He's got his good little volume punching. His chin is questionable, especially because currently has some screws in it. Mm-hmm. Leon though looks great. Mm-hmm. I mean, his last 2 fights, he folded Kamaru Usman.
Exactly.
And in that last second, ditch effort to win that fight because he was losing that fight.
Yeah.
And in the second fight, looked good.
Yeah, because then he just flipped it. Now he just literally won by decision. So he showed that he fixed whatever issues he saw the first time. Because, you can't say that was a lucky hit. Because I'm pretty sure he probably practiced it. Mm-hmm. But it was lucky that he got it within the time frame that he did.
Oh, it came in clutch.
Exactly. But the fact that he was able to win by decision the second time, no questions asked, no one argued it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It just showed that he gained the legitimate experience he needed to prove that he deserved the belt,
And I think for when it comes to their styles, Colby's style is very similar to that of Usman's. Both love to wrestle. Both can kind of hang in there in the stand-up game. I don't think that stand-up wise, Colby's going to be able to kind of trade with Leon the whole fight. Yeah. Colby's going to try to wrestle him, but Leon showed that he's got a good takedown defense. I mean, when you go 9 rounds with Kamaru Usman, nearly 10, mm-hmm. and you don't get wrestle dominated for both fights. I mean, really the first one, like you said, refined it in the second fight.
Because technically Usman dominated Colby.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you don't like that math. I know, here we go again. If this guy did this, but technically Leon should have the necessary, arsenal to be able to withstand.
Not MMA math, but stylistically, I'll kind of lean towards where you're going. I think stylistically, I'll agree because Colby and Kamaru are very alike. So I think in the end, Leon might have a long night for him, but I think he edges out Colby. And if he can knock him out, good for Leon.
Yeah.
And if Colby can somehow submit Leon, good for Colby. But me personally, I think I got Leon winning.
Yeah, me too. We'll see Sean Brady fight him.
Sean, we need to see you against Ian Gary. And also some UFC news that broke out recently. We have Rafael dos Anjos versus Mateus Gamrot. First of all, props to RDA. Dude's resume is stacked. His resume is stacked. Let me just look up his resume. He is like that guy who just does not go away in the top 10 of the lightweight division.
Every time that you're counting him out, he finds his way right back.
Getting right in there. He keeps up with the top dogs. And Mateus Gamrot coming off a fluke win against Rafael Fiziev. It was a fluky injury to Rafael Fiziev. But the last couple fights for Rafael dos Anjos, fought Vicente Luque, fought Brian Barberena, fought Rafael Fiziev, fought Renato Moicano, Paul Felder, Michael Chiesa, Leon Edwards, Kevin Lee, Kamaru Usman, Kobe Covington, Robbie Love. I could go on. Like, this dude's resume is probably goated.
Yeah, I mean, it is goated. You just read.
I didn't even mention Tony, Eddie, Donald Pettis, Nate, Benson Henderson, Khabib. Like, RDA, win or lose, is going to go down as probably one of the greatest lightweights of all time in terms of just resume, whether it's win or loss. Like how we respect Donald Cerrone, but on a higher tier level because RDA was a former champion. So for him to get in there with Mateus Gamrot, it's going to be fun to watch. I think stylistically, they're going to have a fun fight, especially on the ground. I think on the stand-up, Rafael might actually be a little better than Gamrot on the stand-up. Rafael's kind of refined his punching power and his striking skills the last couple fights. We'll see how it goes. I mean, who do you favor between RDA and Gamrot?
I mean, you kind of have to go with Gamrot. I mean, you just said it. Look at all the miles that RDA has.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you're going to say it's experience, but that's a lot of beating.
It is. But he's got some wins on all those mileages.
Yeah, of course. It's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get some wins in there. But at the end of the day, I mean, at what point is that going to catch up to you?
Well, I mean, Father Time is undefeated.
Exactly.
So you never know. This is the fight where, like, we kind of look at RDA get just magically knocked out, or maybe Gamrot gets lucky and RDA blows his ACL out in the beginning of the second round. Right?
And how's that looking if he's going to be the favorite?
I mean, Mateus Gamrot is riding a bunch of luck right now. But, you know, good for him. He's securing a fight. There's rumors going on that he was going to be next in line or the backup fighter to Islam and Charles. Didn't happen. Thank God. But in other news, speaking of Islam, came out recently said, I don't want Charles.
He's scared.
I don't want Arman Saryukian.
He's scared because he knows that Charles he had to figure him out already. It's kind of that it's one of those things where if you have to experience it to know how to beat it. You know what I'm saying? I think Charles figured him out.
Well, Islam came out and said he wants Justin Gaethje.
We've already seen this.
We have not seen Islam versus Gaethje.
Oh, it was Charles against Gaethje that we saw.
What we saw was Habib, Gaethje, and Charles and Islam.
Yeah. No, but I was thinking of when Charles got behind Gaethje's back and, you know, hugged him.
Oh, I see what you're doing here. Clever boy. So, I mean, personally, both fights are fun. I'm not against either fight.
Yeah, because, I mean, Gaethje has obviously re-earned his spot all over again. But not over Charles. Because Charles was already right there waiting in line. And there's no real logical reason why Islam should not give Charles the opportunity again.
Well, Islam's kind of a shot caller right now. So
you can do whoever you want.
So
but unless he's having some personal time with Dana, I don't see why Dana's not pushing to make this happen.
I mean, Charles pulling out his last fight wasn't even his fault. That sparring partner, that cut that he had on his eye was just gnarly. That wasn't Charles' fault. I hope Charles got that guy out of his camp.
Yeah.
I think Charles is more deserving. I also agree Islam actually looks at Charles as a threat, whether he believes, it or not to be because of the results of the first fight. I would like to see Charles and Islam. I mean, that's the fight to make. That's the fight that we had.
Yeah.
Islam kind of, I don't know, he's kind of gotten adopted this kind of diva mentality lately.
I feel like that's every single champion who wins and someone starts calling the shots.
Not named Alex Pereira, thank you. See, but I think here's why I think Islam wants Gaethje. Because when you look at the top 5, I mean, when you look at Islam's championship wins, it would be, if he beats Charles in a rematch, it'd be 2 against Volk, 2 against Charles, and then it ends there. Those are your 2 names, just Charles and Volk. If he beats Gaethje,
he has at least one more in there.
He can say Volk, he can say Charles, he can say Gaethje. Technically, he can already say Saryukin because he moved into the top 5. I already beat him too. Like, he'll start kind of basically saying, I beat him, and him.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works.
No.
And Charles earned his spot.
100%.
When he dominated Beneil Dariush, earned his spot. And on top of that, because of the run that Charles had, because Charles was fighting death row. He did beat the Michael Chandler, the Dustin Poirier, the Justin Gaethje. He went on to beat Beneil Dariush after losing to Islam. Charles has also done the work in the top 5. So, I think Charles deserves it. I think Justin Gaethje can wait a little longer. I mean, I would like to see Gaethje versus Saryukin, but I know Gaethje's not going to take that fight. He's going to sit out. If he has to sit out a year, he will.
Exactly.
Because Gaethje has said himself, if I can't win that title, I'm just going to retire.
Yeah.
So for you Gaethje fans, you better hope that doesn't happen, because in my personal point of view, and come back to this video when this happens, if Gaethje waits a year and loses to whoever it is at that point, which is Islam or Charles, and loses that fight, Gaethje's retired.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's given us some amazing fights. The Chandler, the Poiriers,
Fiziev, Habib.
Yeah.
I think
he's already proven that he's easily one of the top number in the top 5 right now. So
he can afford to wait.
Yeah, he can afford to wait.
So.
Which I feel like that's kind of happening in a lot of these weight classes. It's like we're just recycling these fighters with each other because they're so good. They're just beating each other in the top 5 or top 6, top 7.
Yeah, and I think also another thing that we've also noticed is, like you said, because of all the rematches, we would like to see more opportunity be given out. But at the same time, when you're undeniable, I think Charles is undeniable.
Yeah, 100%.
So hopefully we get that fight. I would love to see that fight. If we get Islam versus Gaethje, I'm not mad. I'm just not
Happy.
satisfied. But if you like the video, click the like, subscribe, share with everybody else, everybody that's combat head out there. Press the notification buttons for all future videos going forward. Tune in for the next fight, or the next video for the next fights.
That's what it is.
Thank you.